should be good here with these. We'll give these a try tonight. These are fat bombs instead of the meal replacement bars last night. I have to admit, I didn't seem to have any digestive problems that were obvious from last night's meal bars. So I think I'm really at the point where I should pop this open and just give it a go. Where's the top? Can I get in this way? No, I don't think I can. Oh, there we go. There we go. So they're coming these individual ones. I'm going to have two because that's kind of small. And this packet has one cluster as a serving size, and there are 14 serving sizes in a container, and each one has about 80 calories. Last night, the meal bar that I had was 190 calories. So this gets close. This gets to 160. So I could do another 30 calories of something else for meeting the same caloric intake for one of these servings. So I'm probably going to do just the two of these. I was thinking maybe for a minute there for 3, but if I do 8, 16, that gives me 30 more I could do, but that's 30 more would get me to the same caloric intake as last night. That would leave me with 50 over that I do tonight. I don't know that I want to do that, but I am kind of curious. Like, I did a little number crunching yesterday. I had my breakfast when I started yesterday, and I used ham and eggs and cheese for breakfast. And then I did sort of like a fifth of a bag of pork rinds. And then I did the meal replacement bar last night here. Followed that up with 2/5 or a little bit to the point where I got close to half a bag of pork rinds by the end. And then I did, I think I did some more eggs with some olive oil and some cheese. And I was doing the crunching the numbers on what I ate last night. Because with my activity level of the exercise routines that I've been doing, I need about 2,800 to 3,000 calories in a day. And I ran the numbers on what I ate. Half a bag of pork rinds, 4 eggs, 4 slices of, 4 slices of ham I think I had for breakfast. And a cup, about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of shredded cheddar, and the meal replacement bar. And I ran the numbers, and I'm like somewhere in the range of 900 to 1,000 calories. Like, that's not enough. Like, I need to triple my income, my intake of caloric volume to meet what I need. And I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? Like, how am I supposed to get 3,000 calories? Like, I know I can bring that up pretty quickly with a carbohydrate, but if I'm trying to set it up so that I'm getting 75% fat and 20 to 25% carbohydrate, how am I supposed to get that? Like, the egg, the ham, I think even like the pork rinds and the cheese, they all have such a high amount of protein to them that if I were just eating those at a level of consuming them as nothing else on the menu, I would be closer to a 60-40 fat protein content to what I'm eating. So I had to really sit down and do some thinking. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open one of these and have it right now. But give my assessment of it. I'll give you some thoughts about what I think I'll probably end up doing at this point. So these are not particularly large. And that's the other thing I wanted to say about this. I found both of these at Walmart. They're in the vitamin aisle. That's a good chocolate, actually. That's not bad. Kind of like that. It's like a dark chocolate. Got some nuts in it. That's kind of what was missing yesterday. That stretchy, chewy quality. They've got it here for the cow. Inulin, soluble corn fiber, glycerin water, palm kernel oil, cream, milk protein concentrate, butter, soy lecithin, natural flavor, MCT oil from coconut, stevia extract. Peanuts, chocolate coating. I wonder how they pull that off with the caramel. See, yesterday's could have benefited from having that chewy, starburst, taffy-like consistency. If it was aerated and whipped a little bit, that would be amazing as a nougat. If this goes well digestively for me, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to make these. Because I want to play with the caramel. It offers some versatility that I could see making some other things with. So these are caramel nut clusters, fat bomb. It's a little harder to chew, but very caramel-like texture. I'm pretty impressed. So these Slim Fast caramel nut clusters, their caramel is actually better than the whatever filling they decided to use on that bar yesterday, which was, I think, was a macadamia nut caramel flavor. It had no chew to it. This, if I can figure out how to reproduce that caramel chew aspect to it, I can see making a low-carb taffy, low-carb starburst. And if I can figure out how to do a candy shell on it, we could probably make Skittles. I'm very kind of curious to see what I could do with this. This is the way to do this. So I got to figure out how to make that. It's really just caramel, chocolate, and peanuts is what they're using on this. It was really impressive. I'm impressed with that. The texture is really close to an actual caramel. It's a little harder and a little denser. But like I said, if I could figure out how to make it, and while it's still hot, whip it a little bit and introduce air, you'd get a softer nougaty texture to it. And I bet you I could mix in some egg white into something like that and make a actual fluffy, like a marshmallow filling. And so playing around with those, yeah, I definitely want to play with that a little bit more. Anyway, so where I was going before we got there was, these are the things that I found at Walmart. This is the Fat Bombs. Yesterday was the meal bar. They're Slim Fast Keto, and they're in the supplement area. They're on in the Walmart I went to, they're on the end cap of the supplement aisle. There's some Slim Fast Keto shakes in bottles, and then right near those are the boxes for the Fat Bombs. They have ones that look like a Reese's peanut butter cup. They have a chocolate chip peanut butter meal bar. They have the meal bar I got, which was a caramel macadamia. And I think they have like one or two other types of bar or something there. And they're interesting. And I'm a little hesitant to recommend them. They do have a sort of like an aftertaste to them that tells you that it's sugar-free, but it's not so bad to make it a thing you'd avoid. But the thing that really hits me with it is those meal bars from yesterday. There are 5 of those. They're not very large bars, but there are 5 of those bars, and it costs $10 for a box. So $10 for 5 meal replacement bars means it's about $2 a small bar. I feel like it sat heavy enough in my stomach that I didn't really feel like I had been deprived of food, but it didn't fill my stomach enough that I feel like you would have that with a salad. You would need to eat that with a salad. And so that could bring your meal costs up to probably about $3 to $5, depending on how you make your salad. So a bar and a salad for about $3 to $5. That's not super bad for a meal cost for a month, but it's $10 for 5 bars is not cheap. $2 a bar. And the size of the bar is small. Like you could go get a packet of Twix for 75 cents, and it's going to be more bar for 75 cents than you get for $2 with these. But I will say, on the other hand, that it has me very contemplating, because looking at the packet that it came in, on the back of it, it has the nutritional information, and so it has like the total fat, cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, and protein, and then a few things like a few other things. But then underneath all of that are all the vitamins and minerals that you daily need, and it's a huge list. It's a multivitamin. Those bars that I was having one of yesterday, one of those bars is like taking a multivitamin in candy bar form. And so when I looked into, a while back when I was doing some of the planning for some of the eating that I was going to do the next few months here, I contemplated the idea of doing a week to 2 weeks, maybe even a month of candy bars, only candy bars. That's the kind of candy bar you would want to have. It has a lot of the nutrients that your body needs in the bar included. Most standard candy bars don't include that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know that I would call them a candy bar, and I don't think it would be fair to pretend to be eating just candy bars and eating a meal replacement bar like that. That's a slightly different deal. But this was $10, and those bars yesterday were $10. And they do have some shakes that are $10. 4 shakes, that's kind of painful to see. But it looks like they also have keto meal shakes. Well, they have the ones I saw were the keto meal shakes to go. You get 4 per packet. They also have a keto meal shake mix, which I haven't seen in Walmart. So I may have to see if I can find it in another place. We've got the meal bars, the keto snacks, which are like the fat bombs, and keto support products. I'm not sure what they got there. Creamer, MCT oil, test strips for your ketones. I almost really just don't care about that, honestly. I'm pretty sure I'm low enough carb that it's not going to be an issue for me to worry about. But like I said earlier, when I went through the planning for this and ate my Sunnyside eggs with fried in butter with shredded cheddar cheese on slices of ham yesterday. That was my breakfast. And then I had, like, let's just rough it out and say like a quarter of a bag of pork rinds. And then I then had the meal bar, more pork rinds, 2 eggs scrambled with olive oil and cheddar cheese. And that was what I ate yesterday before I sat down and said, all right, so we're aiming for 2,000 calories roughly for what my meals are. Based off of my activity level, usually I really ought to be aiming for 2,800 to 3,000. And my activity level is a little bit higher than it was when I was doing the carbohydrate diet. So it's not like a perfectly fair comparison. So I could back off the activity level or I can increase my caloric intake. But when I crunch the numbers on everything I ate, that list I just gave you, it was like 980 to 1,020 was the calories I'd eaten in my 3 meals and 2 snacks. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I'm not even like, I'm halfway there if I want to hit 2,000, and I'm a third of the way there if we're going off of my activity level. Like, how am I supposed to do that at a fat load of 75% and a protein of 20? Like, if I do eggs and ham, and to a certain degree the cheese, I'm going to end up at the end of the day with a very close to 50-50 protein fat. I need 75 fat and 20 something protein. So I got to figure out a way to do that differently. And so I've been brainstorming some of that today. And like switching out the ham for ground beef can up the fat a bit. Like if I do more egg yolk to egg white ratio, I can get more fat on that end of it. But I'm not going to throw away egg white to get more yolk. That's not my goal here. And so there's got to be other ways. I use butter for frying the eggs. But I got this thinking like, okay, so what else can I do? Like I can make my own fat bombs. I can use peanut butter during snacks. Like I can get nuts for snacks. But you get to a certain point where if you eat too many nuts, it can cause digestive problems. So I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? And then I started to realize, like, looking at that, when I used olive oil in my scrambled eggs last night, I took a look at that and it's like a tablespoon of olive oil is about 90 calories from pretty much pure fat. So I started to think like, okay, so if I swap out like the pork rinds, which are higher fat, but they're also protein in there, if I swap those out for salad and make a dressing where it's tablespoons of olive oil with a little bit of vinegar and maybe some nuts sprinkled on top and maybe an egg, some egg yolk thrown in there. I don't know. I know I could make Italian dressing. I can make a ranch, which is almost always buttermilk, and so I could probably, instead of using buttermilk, I could probably get away with heavy cream, and I could get away with using a homemade mayonnaise, which is essentially just oil and egg yolk. So that would increase the fat. And if I make a ranch using that, then it's just seasoning. So it's onion, garlic, dill, and a little bit of a few other things in there, some salt, maybe a little bit of mustard. And you throw that in there with the mayonnaise and the cream, and you can get a very, very creamy ranch dressing. It's going to give you plenty of fat. If you drizzle it on your, I shouldn't drizzle it. At the point that I'm trying to get the caloric intake that I need, I'm going to have to be dumping a lot of dressing on a lot of salad. Salad has almost no calories for what you get, and it doesn't have a lot of protein. It doesn't have a lot of carbohydrates. It has some fiber, which is it is a carb, but it's not a carb that counts. It's not one of the net carbs you're supposed to count when you're making those calculations. And so and salad doesn't have a lot of fat. It's really like fiber, water, and some vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. So salad is a good vehicle with an Italian dressing, a ranch dressing. If I can make a ranch, I might be able to make like a Thousand Island or a Russian dressing. And I was contemplating, like, the dressing I kind of enjoy making is a sesame ginger. So sesame oil, you put a little bit of vinegar in there, you get some ginger, some garlic. The thing I have to figure out is if I can find a replacement I can do a replacement for the honey, and I can potentially find a replacement for I got to figure out what I can do for the soy sauce. The soy sauce tends to be carby, but I'm sure there's a way I can find an alternative to do that. And I'll do a little looking around later. But so dressings for salads. And then I got to thinking, like, okay, so I can also use them as marinades for meats and dressings on meats for flavoring them. But I got to thinking, like, okay, so that pesto, I can make pesto, and that's pretty much olive oil and nuts with some seasoning in it. And then all right, and what about like a garlic butter that I can put on vegetables too? So like broccoli with garlic butter, or make a small stir fry with pesto. And like, okay, I think I can do that. And as I do that, you're talking about doing like 1 to 2 tablespoons of dressing, or even like a half a cup of dressing on some cases, and using ranch as a dip. I can add chipotle to my ranch and make a chipotle ranch dip that's high enough in fat that I can bump those things up a bit. I was like, okay, I think I have a way of doing this, and I may see if I can do some examples of what that would be like. So I will read the recipe off and make some in the maybe in the next few days, and show them off on channel here, and read them off. So I think that'll be something I'll do for some of these. I do think I'm probably going to see about getting some of the keto shakes just to try them. I'm not imagining I'll be super excited by them. I don't much care for those shakes. They're not my favorite thing in the world. I've had not keto ones, but I've had other ones, and I'm not a big fan. But yeah, I mean, I might get another one of I may see if there's a different brand. This is Slim Fast. I want to see if there are a couple different brands that I can check out in some of the other stores. These were the only ones I found at Walmart. They do have Atkins stuff, which I don't know if they're keto or not. Atkins can be a little kind of like uncertain. Some of those things are high protein, and that's the other thing I noticed when I was looking around the other day, is when it comes time to do a protein-based meal plan in October-ish, November-ish, I should be able to do that relatively easily, because all those weight trainers out there, they get a supply of protein powders and protein bars and protein this and protein that. So protein, and I can get lean meats easily enough. An egg white without the yolk is almost nothing but protein. So I should be easy on doing protein. Carbohydrates, easy to consume a lot of, but they don't leave you satisfied. This actually, I did all right feeling satisfied yesterday. My biggest problem was consuming enough to meet what I need for my caloric intake amount. And actually, I do like these caramel things. There's not a lot to them, so 2 of them feels like not a meal. It's not enough to call it a meal, but as a snack item, I think that's fair. So even 2 of these is not cutting it, I don't think. I'm going to have to go make a meal after this. But I do like, and I think these are ultimately creatable at home. So it would be much cheaper, I imagine, than buying these. The chocolate on it is just a unsweetened baker's chocolate, I would assume, or a dark chocolate with erythritol as the sweetener. I would potentially favor a stevia over an erythritol, and mixing that just with peanuts would be amazing. But the caramel in there, if I can figure out how to reproduce that caramel, there's a lot I think I could do with that in some recipes. I'm going to see if I can break out the caramel. And there's a crispness to the chocolate that I like. Yeah, chocolate peanut custers like this would be really nice. Or even just like use this type of chocolate around a peanut and give it some kind of candy shell. And make your own peanut M&Ms that are low carb, keto friendly. Come on. I'm trying to get through the chocolate to the caramel. Close enough that you could probably see it. It's like this biscuit. There's some peanuts in it. There's the chocolate. There's the caramel with the peanuts in it. And it has it has that bend, that flex to it. And pulling on it, it does give that stretch and leave some strings to it. So it's very close to a good caramel. It's not quite the same texture. It has a very sort of like beeswaxy sense to it. I really wish you wouldn't keep dropping things on my keyboard. But let's see if it shows that bite pull on it. Very similar to a caramel. And this says here, total carbohydrates are 10. Dietary fiber are 6 out of them. So net carbs are 2 net carbs per piece. So that's a sizable chunk of caramel to end up with, like, at this point, it's probably 1 net carb on the caramel there. The rest of it's going to be in the nuts and the chocolate. Now, how much do I believe that? I am kind of curious at some point to see if I can pull out a blood sugar monitor and test to see what the blood sugar response to something like this is for me. I know some other people might respond differently. And some of that may be down to your gut microbiome and what things they can process and what they can't. But I will say one of the other things that I'm concerned with these types of things is I can see somebody, like that person who drinks a Mountain Dew at every meal, and has 2 or 3 candy bars during the day, and eats pizza and pasta and cereal for their main meals. They're overweight, they're struggling with it all, and somebody recommends to them to try keto. So they come over, and instead of eating a candy bar every meal, they eat one of these every meal. Instead of drinking a regular soda, they get one of those Coke Zeros or something like that. Instead of cereal, they find there's a company out there that makes the keto cereals. And they try to figure out a way to do a keto pasta, and they try to find a way to do a keto pizza. And so by the end of the first month, they haven't changed their eating habits. They're still eating garbage. But it's keto, so it's safe garbage. And that really shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be to aim for a better diet choices. Make a chef salad. Get some greens, get some vegetables in there. Get your meats, get your proteins, get your variety in your food. And I suspect, and we'll find out as we go explore the consequences of this next 4 weeks, we'll find out whether or not my suspicions are right, that this isn't a weight loss miracle. I'm not looking to lose weight, but if I lose weight, I'll be amazed. And this is not a miracle cure for building body strength and eating things like these candy bars that are keto candy bars aren't going to make me healthier. All right. Well, hopefully your computer is not biting the dust on that one. I can reasonably say for interacting on the internet, not for gaming, but for interacting on the internet, you can find a reasonably like a $200 computer that can let you still do the things you want to do, other than gaming or graphics heavy stuff. And that's usually my go-to. In order to connect with other writers, which I've actually been doing a lot of this past week, there was a site that I used to participate in online where people would post up fiction in the sort of like superhero genre. And that site went down, so many of the people from one of the series started up another website. And I was a participant there. I wrote a couple stories for that setting, and then that site went down, and they transferred to a new site that they've been running for several years now. And I just never signed back up for the website because it seemed like a lot of work to sign back in. But I've been They just recently, I still read some of the stories people post there. I just haven't made any of my own posts anymore. But they just did an online convention on their Discord channel, which I didn't know they even had. But I had actually been talking with somebody at VidCon. I talked with somebody at VidCon about the potential of doing a Discord channel convention. So I was curious to see how they would do it. I was curious to see how it turned out. And so I'm kind of like, let's see what we can find out and meet up with some of these people. And I had an absolute blast hopping onto Discord and having conversations and talking with some of the authors of some of my favorite stories in the universe for about a couple days. And I'm like, I miss this. I want to connect with this community again. So I've been doing that. And in the process of doing that, I've had a couple people talking about topics. And oh, yeah, I had an idea for a character that's like that, I said. And I've fleshed out and created about 3 or 4 new characters in the last 2 or 3 days for the setting of that story. So, and I dredged up one of my old written works to get somebody else to read it on the group, and they were having a little bit of trouble with the format not going through right. And so I double checked it, opened it up, and read it myself. And I was reading that, and I was having an absolute blast. It was such a goofy story. It was such a goofy story that I had so much fun. I'm like, oh, I want to be doing this again. So I am sitting here thinking, like, maybe after we've finished, like, this is a food week. And then we have, I'm debating whether or not I'm going to do audio or video or visual arts next week. I kind of want to do a little painting, but I also remember last week we were talking about making board games with video elements, and I had that idea of those games where you use the left and right audio tracks for different results during the story. I went, oh, I could play and make a few of those. I was like, I don't know. Do I do like a series of visual artworks that I was talking with somebody at VidCon about doing essentially taking butter and doing artwork with butter in different forms? Should I do that? Because I talked with somebody about a month and a half ago about doing that, and I haven't done anything with it yet. Or do I do audio games? Because what I talked about last week, where we could make a video where the video pieces work for both soundtracks, but just switch soundtracks back and forth. I could do them on podcasts that don't require that you have a video element to match. Like, oh, I could do some fun things with those. And I think I mentioned at one point that since they're 7 days to a week, I could alternate back and forth. I may do some of that this coming week. But so we're on food week right now, but my thought process is food week, then we have video game, and then we have health and well-being at the end of the month. And we cycle back around to writing. I feel like I might clip out a few of these other things. I don't know that I will do. I don't know that I would do food again, because I don't know that I have a lot more to cover in this category. So I might replace food with another writing week. And then I got to thinking, like, are there other things I can do that with? Like health and well-being, I'm going to schedule for the end of every 8 weeks, all the way out to New Year's. But writing, I'll keep the same. I don't know if I'll do anything on video. I might do some of those choose your own adventure videos or some of my video skit ideas. But I also kind of want to do some writing again. And then board game, I do want to kind of continue to design board games. Product and service, maybe not as much. Like, I have a few products that I could work with. Visual arts and potentially music and audio arts, I kind of still want to do. But food, I could probably skip for another writing project. And video games, I don't know that I'll be able to do the video games either. Like, I'm sort of hitting a wall on what I can do with the video games, unless we consider the Choose Your Own Adventure videos as video games. So I might even see if I can get back into RPG Maker and make a couple games that way. I mean, that's a pretty easy entry-level game design software suite. So I might end up doing that. So I'm deliberately considering the possibility that, other than 2 months out where I will be doing protein dominant diet, I might do another one of these for the protein foods. I don't know that there's a lot of call for me to do. Yeah. I don't know. I'll think about it. I still want to do my daily update videos. I'm actually a little behind today because I have the book that I was working on over here that I was reading that I'll review. It's supposed to be the rate and review today and the creative prompts inspired by it for Wednesday. They may both go up on Wednesday. Tomorrow's Views Day. Finishing up Umbrella Academy, actually, I think. We got 3 episodes of Umbrella Academy left, and I'll watch those tomorrow. And then Thursday is probably when I'm going to go up with the fitness routine, if I can beat myself into doing it. I'm a little hard on myself about like, I look at the video that I made for what I was doing, and I go, it's not good enough, and I'm really a bit of a jerk about it to myself. I should just buckle down and do it and post it. But anyway, yeah, so I'll play with that a little bit, and then Friday and Saturday are movies, and I got to figure out what movie I'm going to do for that. I was thinking Alita Battle Angel, but I may change that. There are a few on there that I can actually look at for free, which budget-wise is probably where my budget should be this month. I'll see if I can pick up some additional work to get me a little more funds for going forward, so it's not as tight at the end of every month. But that's sort of where we are right now. I got an appointment tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can get my car inspected. It's 3 months past due to get inspected, so kind of need to get that taken care of. And then get down to storage and find a gift for the wedding I'm going to on Saturday. Get to storage and pull out some of the clothes I'm going to need to wear to the wedding on Saturday, and then get a gift for the wedding on Saturday. And so on Saturday, I think it's 11 a.m., so it's probably winding down by late afternoon. I will probably end up back here early enough, but if not, I mean, I will still post a live video later in the evening, but the daytime video that's usually not recorded live, I will potentially just upload that on Friday if I get that done right, so that it's taken care of before. That will be the creative prompts for the movie that I watch. So that should be up before Saturday, potentially posted to launch on Saturday. I still have to figure out that scheduling a video to go up, because I think when I've done that in the past, it still leaves the date that it was uploaded as the date that it starts. So it doesn't show up as a new video. I have a few of those like that on my playlist of videos, where I uploaded 2 videos on the same day, one of them scheduled to upload the next day, and nobody watches the second one because it doesn't go up, it just goes live, but it's been on the site for a day already. And so I don't think it pops up on people's notices. So I don't know if I need to do something different on that to make it work. I got to figure that out, but that's where we are today. So I'm now officially done the meal bars and the fat bomb taste tests. I will continue to finish them off, but I think I may try to get the shakes for tomorrow, and then I might switch over for the rest of the week to, if I can find, and I'll look up if Atkins meal stuff is keto, and if it is, I'll maybe see about getting some of those things, and maybe South Beach Diet too. I will look at that. I don't think South Beach Diet is. I think South Beach Diet is low fat, low carb, which is sort of not what we want. I believe Atkins is high fat, low carb, so they may be keto friendly. So I'll explore that. So I might have a couple more keto friendly commercially available food items, but I may end up doing an example for 1, 2, or 3 of the next few days as recipes of my keto-friendly dressings, sauces, and marinades. Maybe we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right. Thanks for joining me on this. I will see you tomorrow if everything works out for both of us. Hopefully, your computer stuff pans out, and we'll see if we can help you figure out what you need to do to get things solved. I will check it. I will see you later. Yeah, getting tired here. All right. Take care and have a good night. Doop, boop, doop, doop, boop.